Right, so you often hear me make the claim that social media companies, the mainstream media, those kind of, namely Twitter, YouTube, CNN, all these kind of places are biased in favor of the left. And a lot of people are, I'm sure most people already know this. I mean, when you just look at it from an honest and objective point of view, I don't see how you can't just admit that. But for all the people that still don't believe, I give you Project Veritas. Now, most people probably already know this, given that it's something that came out a while ago, which is why, again, why I make the claim. I've seen this kind of stuff. I've watched the video. Now, in this, you have James O'Keefe retweeting and talking about how basically I mean, you can literally read here too, is that one strategy is to shadow ban so that you have ultimate control. The idea of shadow ban is that you can ban someone, but they don't know they've been banned because they keep posting, but no one sees their content. Or at the very least, they can make it so less people see their content if it's someone who's very popular, because if it's someone who has a million followers and all of a sudden he's getting zero retweets, or that something's going to be really up there. So they'll just drop it down. You can see this too with a lot of these. Almost every major YouTuber I know who's conservative, um, and had established themselves, they've been around for at least 5, 10 years, have said, yeah, my views are down, and literally every one of them. So, like I say, he literally has people who work at Twitter admitting to this kind of stuff. And yet you still have these kind of people trying to make the claim that they're not biased. Like, literally, you could not provide better evidence if you tried of proving that there's a bias against conservatives, or even a bias against anyone who isn't on the left, I think is a better way of putting it. And yet you still have people trying to deny it. Like again, this is where we're at in the political realm nowadays, that like you literally have people admitting their bias, like literally admitting it on camera, and yet you still have these people on the left, most of them on the left. I've even heard of some people who are on the left that are trying to pretend that there isn't this bias. And like I said, I wanted to make this video for two reasons. Number one is, I do make some claims that to someone who doesn't follow the news at all would hear and think is very crazy. But like I say, I like making these kind of videos to back that kind of stuff up. And I've made videos about Project Veritas and James O'Keefe before. It's not like this is the first time, but I know, like I say, I'm always getting new subscribers, people that watch that aren't subscribers, and I wanted to make a video because it's good to keep people informed and actually informed. And the other reason too is just to point out just the cognitive dissidence of the people that are on the left, is that, like I say, you literally have them admitting this bias, like on camera, and yet you still deny it. Like that's just how crazy they are. And that, in other words, they're literally saying there is nothing you can do or say to change my mind. Literally nothing. And like I say, that's where we're at. And that doesn't exist on the right. Like, for other people saying, oh, that exists on the right too. Maybe to the religious right, that when you're debating them on the religion, but that doesn't have anything to do with politics. Um, if you literally had Fox saying that kind of stuff, would the left not be calling them out? And Fox isn't nearly, I mean, I don't watch Fox, but Fox isn't nearly as biased as the CNNs and MSNBCs of the world. Like, Fox has moderate hosts. Fox did a Bernie Sanders town hall. Like, they have some, even if you want to say, yeah, this guy's biased or that guy's biased, yeah, yeah, sure, but not nearly to the extent that the MSNBCs and CNNs are of the world. Like, I don't mean to pick on this person individually, but Rachel Maddow literally makes Alex Jones look sane. And like Alex Jones, I mean, Alex Jones is right about quite a bit of stuff, but there's some things he says that's absolutely crazy. But like, people who believe in the Trump Russia collusion narrative, those are people that are literally on the level of flat earthers. Like, if someone literally came up and told me flat earth, Trump Russia collusion, I wouldn't consider either one crazier than the next one, because they're both that crazy. Like, there's no evidence. All the evidence is completely in the opposite direction. And like I said, that's just the extent people are willing to go to to have their political bias, basically. But anyway, I don't want to ramble too much more. Basically, just to sum it up, um, yeah, whenever I make the claim that the social media companies and the mainstream media is biased, that's all you got to do. And follow James O'Keefe on Twitter too, even if you don't agree with him. Like, follow him still, and you'll see this kind of stuff, because you always hear these people talking about how do you get an honest view of the news out there with things being so polarized. And the inevitable thing is that you always you follow people on different sides of the spectrum. But you literally had Jack Dorsey, who was the CEO of Twitter, I believe, saying in the interview he had with Joe Rogan and Tim Pool, he literally said people on the right were more likely to follow people on the left than vice versa. But yet, and that's for the simple reason that most people on the left, their views aren't shrouded in any form of reality or truth or reason, so they can't. And the right, most of their views are, so that you can follow people who have opposing views, because you know that your views are more shrouded in truth, in reality, in fact, in reason, all that kind of stuff. um, but anyway, I've made this video long enough. I'm going to leave it there. If you'd like to, make sure to hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my PayPal linked in the description. I also have an email address for a e-transfer. I'd appreciate any donations. But at the very least, just hit that subscribe if you haven't already, and share the videos.